Okay, good evening. If you're here for the school board meeting, you're in the right place. It is Thursday, February 1st, 2024, North Bend School District 13. Let's see, this is the call to order. Next, we have the flag pledge. The flag is to my left.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call from my right. Mary Schilling, Julie Thies, Nathan McClintock, your host, Jim Jordan, Carol Yardley, Dallas Eatonbrink, and Michelle Roberts is on a vacation at an undisclosed foreign location. Not with us. Okay, item 2, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Okay. Vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays. 6-0. Ooh. Public participation.
No participation.
No God, okay. Agenda item 4, communication, 4A, board reports and communication. Okay, I gotta say, so the board met in August 2023 and developed 2 goals for the superintendent to focus his efforts. Anybody want to chip in with those 2 goals? Academic achievement and student discipline. So those are our 2 goals. With that, 4B, student representatives, what do we got? We got Taylor Sam Mickelson and Sophia.
Actually, just Taylor and Sophia. We're going to talk about him in a minute.
Okay, all right. Oh.
The winter sports season, sorry, the winter sports seasons are winding down. Playoff games and district championships will be happening in boys and girls basketball, swimming, and wrestling.
On Tuesday, our boys and girls basketball teams played at Marshfield. Our girls beat the league leading Pirates by a score of 43-38.
Our wrestling team went to Hidden Valley High School last night. They lost to Mazama but beat Hidden Valley.
Our swimming teams have been competing all over the place. Next weekend, they will host the district swimming meet. Our coaches expect a good number of athletes to qualify for the state meet on March 16th and 17th.
The North Bend High School competition cheer team recently competed in the black and orange competition at Roseburg High School, bringing home a first place finish in their division. They compete again this week in Salem.
Spring sports registration is now open. The first official day of practice will be February 26th.
We're beginning preparation for the OSAA 3A state basketball tournament, which will be held at North Bend High School and Marshfield High School on February 29th, March 2nd. This is the 14th year that we have hosted the tournament, which brings in well over $500,000 to our local economy. Anyone interested in donating items to the hospitality room or helping supervise are encouraged to contact Mr. Forrester at the high school.
This Sunday, North Bend High School sent a group of 5 or 6 female student athletes to Portland to be a part of the National Girls and Women's in Sports Day Luncheon at Oregon Episcopal School. The conference will give these athletes to learn about Title VI compliance and how it relates to their own experience as athletes in our school.
Our OBOB team has been busy. Last Wednesday, they competed against Marshfield and won all 5 of the 5 matches. On March 6th, we will compete again against Marshfield. Sorry. On March 6th, we will compete against Marshfield again for the Battle of the Bay Cup standings at Marshfield High School. That win could be huge in their regional meet. That win could be huge in determining a winner at the end of the year. The regional meet will be on March 16th for a chance to qualify for the state meet later in the year.
Last Saturday night, our school held a dance hosted by the leadership class at North Bend High School. We had about 120 students attend the dance. The music was great and the students had a wonderful time.
We will be hosting a study session on February 7th after school in the library for any students needing after-school help. We have a number of teachers that will be there helping students who are either behind or just need a little extra help with class.
We currently have students signing up for our esports team at North Bend High School. As you may know, our esports team has had a great year last year, and they are looking forward to another great season. Now to our joke of the month. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? In case they get a hole in one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think there's also a Thanksgiving jazz band.
Yes, that is this Saturday at 7 o'clock.
I think it'll be well attended.
6:30.
Say it again?
6:30.
6:30, yes, my bad. Awesome, gotcha, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Chris?
Young man, come up here.
All right.
He, just about 40 minutes ago, I went to this man's basketball practice, called him over, and you get to meet the principal. What did I do now? And I asked him to come to this school board meeting. And the reason I brought him here is that yesterday, I believe that this young man did a heroic act for one of our students at our school. And I wanted to let you guys know about it. Not a month later, but I want you guys to know the day after. We had a student get injured yesterday, and the cause of it, we won't ask him, but they were playing around, just being normal high school students. But a student got injured the other day and popped his knee out, and he was in great pain. But Sam here sat behind him and gave support for over 45 minutes of his time as a kid who was in pain, and he talked him through it, was by his side, and even as the paramedics came, he stayed there with the student, making sure that he was safe and everything was good, and be any support. We don't get this chance to honor kids that often, to do something that's outside of what they're asked to do. You know, we can open a door now and then, but for 45 minutes to sit there with somebody in pain and do what was above the call and duty of a normal high school student. I want the board and I want this community to know that we have a wonderful student here. And not only is he a wonderful student, okay, wonderful person. And so, board, I want to thank you. We'll get a more official certificate and honor him at our Valentine's ceremony. But at this point, just want to let you guys know that he rose to the occasion. So thank you for your time.
Great job.
Thank
you, Sam.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Go home.
Thank you. Okay, 4C Association reports, North Bend Education Association report, Eva Varga.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's good to be here. One exciting thing is that there's been a significant interest and student participation in clubs and events across grade levels. And just one example at Hillcrest, Mrs. Rogers choir club has 60 students in it. And so that's just like remarkable. I think that's amazing. So wanted to bring that to your attention. Teams representing both North Bend Middle School and North Bend High School have also had a really strong showing at the Battle of Books recently at Marshfield High School. And the high school teams from North Bend swept every meet that they had. So that was really exciting. There was also, I guess, some little rivalry between the North Bend Middle School. They had some plushie or something, and the North Bend High School team stole it or something. So all good fun, but just good stuff happening. At North Bay, the family night has been moved to February because of shipping delays. Not all the supplies have arrived, and so there's a change in schedule there. Staffing is yet incomplete. This is starting to have or has had impact on numerous programs. Staffing shortages in the life skills and resource room at the high school, for example, have affected services that can be provided to students with IEPs. There have been teachers who have left mid-year, both at Hillcrest and at the high school, or will be leaving soon at the high school. And so these absences are noticeable by both students and their colleagues. And it's leading to some concern and morale issues. There have been teachers encountering challenging and aggressive behaviors, and there have been more and more behavior contracts and data trackers that are being implemented. And so just the lack of a counselor at Hillcrest, for example, we can just feel that there's these vacancies and these needs. So wanted to bring that to your attention. And then on the positive, again, we have 4 additional students. I reported back in November, I think it was, there was a junior who took a Spanish proficiency test to demonstrate her skills and knowledge in Spanish, and she passed the test. She's a junior, however, so she still has to, jump all the hoops and to graduate, and she'll receive the seal of biliteracy. But just this past weekend, we had 4 additional students who did the same thing. They're all seniors, and they've demonstrated their high proficiency in Spanish. And so upon graduation, they will receive the seal of biliteracy and a medal and honor cords. I don't know what color they should be, but anyway, if you have thoughts on what color those honor cords should be, that would be great. There are still several other students who are expected to test. So far, the 5 students have all tested in Spanish, but there's students that I'm hoping that will test in Vietnamese and Russian as well. And once I know who's all qualified this year, I'm going to invite them all as a group to come, and you can say hi. Puedes decir hola or ni hao, or whatever their language may be. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. 4D Superintendent Report, then Swaggerty.
All right, you have my written report. The extreme weather, as I mentioned, we were very fortunate that we didn't have any days cut, or we didn't lose power for significant amounts of time. My dad lives in Springfield. We were without power 9 days, and part of that time was in 20-degree weather. So he made it through. Came out the other side with flying colors. It was very nice when I had a chance after talking to him on the phone. And so we were just very fortunate that we were not in that world. I think the supply chain issues that he would just mention affected us mostly in our food service. And so we did deal with that as well. So by the way, the tomorrow night, you want to go out to to North Bay, tomorrow night is the night for the festival. So so if you're out there, we'll see you there. We'll be, Bella will be volunteering up there. We talk a lot about trimesters. Reminder that we just finished our first semester for the elementaries. And so they had a grading day last week, and they're starting, which officially means that we're halfway through the school year. Can you even imagine that? We're halfway through the school. It's going to be spring. Bruce and I went to the winter conference. I put some things in here. Bruce, do you want anything you want to say about what you kind of dove into a little bit at winter conference?
Well, there's some great activities up there that I think we learned from and brought back and shared with the district. You caught me off guard on this one.
Yeah.
Go ahead and I'll add when you get it done at the end.
Well, I just, what I wrote here, mostly what I focused in on, we had some conversation about strategic planning. And so knowing that we're going to walk down that path, I wanted to get a little insight into some other districts. The district that led a session that I attended was Phoenix Talent. And a lot of the work they did that they really talked about was involving stakeholders. Also learned a little bit about what the current trends are in bargaining, and some of the things that are happening now that are sort of new on the horizon. And then spent some time with attendance, and there's no magic wand in the world of attendance, and so trying to get ideas and notions that we might be able to use in all of our levels. The part of the time I was up there, I was also involved in our civil rights review. And just as you know, I wrote that here, but I didn't want to explain that We were contacted in December saying we were one of 10 schools in the state. Every year they pick 10 schools, high schools, and do a civil rights review. It's required by the federal government for states and schools that receive Carl Perkins funding for current technical education. So nobody turned us in. There was nothing like that. It wasn't one of those kind of situations. So we went through that process. I appreciate Dana's work, especially in trying to gather materials and get to them ahead of time. Then we had 6 hours, about 6.5 hours of meetings, Thursday and Friday. I was at the conference. I was zooming in from there, and had 4 different teams that talked with them. So we did a lot to prepare. Now they're going to send us the findings. It was impossible to come out of it without a finding. They told us that ahead of time, and we sort of still hoped that we could. And in the first 3 minutes, we found out we were going to have a finding. And it was something as simple as on the front page of the main district page on the website, we have a discrimination statement that meets all the standards, but then in some of our documents, it's a little bit different. And then even on some of our school pages, it's not the same that we have on the district page. And so that was like the first thing they started talking about. So, okay, so we've got a finding. Now it's just how many and how serious. So it was okay. It wasn't as in some ways it was easier than we thought. In other ways, it was way more technical than we thought it was going to be. They asked some pretty technical questions, and some of our folks were kind of taken off guard by the level of the specificity in some of the questions that they've asked. And so it'll be interesting to see what we get from them. There'll be a voluntary plan, like when you get like voluntary, I'll put that in quotes, because it's not like we're going to say, yeah, we don't think we want to do this. Of course, we'll accept the voluntary plan, we'll sign off on it, and we'll give you a report later on as we get more details. So we'll keep you up to date. So, Bruce, anything you want to add?
Yeah, a couple things that I found interesting in sessions. We have a great session on AI and Chat GPT and the ramifications in the school setting, the things to look forward to coming out, and trends that you will see coming up. And we can certainly talk about that in depth later on. The other one that I went to that I thought was interesting was community involvement and surveying the community and getting input from the community in different ways that we've done before. That may involve and incorporate more people to participate in it. We did get an outlook on funding projections and where the state's sitting in there and what to see in the upcoming legislative session, what they thought were going to be major issues that we were going to look at. One of those big things is that abbreviated school day legislation and fine tuning some of that legislation as we move forward. Then went to a session on the early literacy grant. I know it's a topic later on. I was sitting in the session just to gather more information, as we often do. And lo and behold, they singled North Bend application out as being one of the kind of the model applications in the state. So Dana's work on that has positioned us real well there. And then Vince and I had time to have a private audience with our state assessment coordinator, Dan Barley, and gather some information and give him some thoughts that we had on steps moving forward on assessment in there. So overall, a great conference. And I think it was small enough that we had some conversations that, normally won't get at some of the larger conferences.
Yeah. It was good. Some of the things I want to mention that are actually not on here, mentioned Battle of the Books. North Bay also did very well in their Battle of the Book competition. I think there was a day where they had 8 different competitions and won 6 of them. Tim and I went to the high school today on the first of 3 or 4 different budget roadshow trips. We thought we would make an appearance at each of the buildings, talk to their staff about kind of what's coming up in terms of the budget. But we're not sending a message of anything dire. We know all along we've had 6 different ESSER funded positions that needed to be reduced at the end of this year. So we've created a plan. 4 of those are just attrition. A couple of those, we've had to make contact with people. And so we started with the high school today, kind of sent that message. And I'll be talking with North Bay tomorrow as well as the middle school. And then on Monday, I'll go over to Hillcrest and we'll go over and have those conversations. We want it to be, we don't want people to be freaked out as we start talking budget, but we wanted to just give them a sense of where we're at and what our long-term enrollment looks like and you know, and how we're trying to move forward so that we manage that skillfully and not get us into a position where in a few years we're, you know, in a panic because we haven't taken the right steps, wise steps each year. So we're going to do that. Also want to mention that Wade Lester tonight, he invited me to come where he's representing the district as they receive a grant. He wrote a grant to try to work with middle school students on vaping cessation. We've got middle school kids going to him saying, Mr. Lester, I don't want to vape, but I'm addicted. And so he's trying to find ways to be able to support kids and wrote and received a grant for that. He's getting he's at the casino tonight as a part of a ceremony where they're awarding some grants. So just appreciate him and his heart for the kids and trying to make a difference for those kids. Last thing I want to mention is that Joe came to us a few months ago, and we started talking about how we communicate with parents. And so we have our current robocall system. I don't even know the name of the company, but it's you know, it's a standard kind of a system. But we started talking about a lot of school districts using a product called Parent Square. And so we asked them to dive into that a little bit. It's way more robust than the system we already have. But within the context of that, so they also build websites, right? They're a national website building in a company, and we were using a company called Aptigee that our contract was ending at the end of January, so we either got to re-up with them or switch, which is so we started asking Parent Square what it would take and how much it would cost and so on and so forth. And we decided to switch and go to them, knowing that they had to have something ready for us on February 1st, period. Because our contract with Aptigee ended yesterday and we've got to have a website. So it had to start today, which gave them a very short time frame. And what you're seeing on your screen now is our new website. And they were able to pull it off. They were able to get all of the data, migrate the data from our old website, bring it into the new website, and work closely with Joe. Joe, I'm going to turn it over to you a little bit so you can kind of share, click on some links and kind of show the team what we have.
Yeah, so we worked with them. They redesigned it a little, so it's a little more user friendly. At least that's what we're hoping. I do want to give credit to Vince. The pictures that are on there right now, for the most part, Vince took those pictures. So we have new pictures. And I've already heard from one staff member who said, oh, it's so much easier finding information. So, and that was from today. But it's, you know, like a normal web page, you just put your mouse over the titles, it will drop down, you can click on the link and it takes you to the page. And then some pages have accordion things, but there's more information below. We have all of our schools up here. So you just click on the word schools and you can switch to like Hillcrest. It'll take us there, and theirs looks similar to the district site. It all has the same format. There is, if you scroll down, there's more information below, like our news feeds that they brought over from what we did before. And there's a calendar at the bottom with events. So,
And if you go to the calendar, you'll, slide down back to that calendar. You can mouse over the little black, what you see in there, you'll see that, it tells you what the actual event is, and if then you click on it, you can go, it'll take you directly to, you know, that day and what that is. And then on the district website, Joe, I noticed you got that figured out. It includes things from all three of the schools as well as the district.
yeah, so you can see there are a whole bunch of events out there.
Another thing that we put on, if you slide back up towards the top, on the district page, where it says athletics. That used to only exist on the high school page. That's the only place you could really find this link. And we know that this is the most up-to-date calendar for all of our sports, includes the middle school as well as the high school. And so now it's an easy link directly from the district site as well, not having to go to the high school to click on it. So we try to do some things and make it a little bit more intuitive, a little bit easier to navigate. But I tell you, I am so impressed with the company. I did not, honestly, I was crossing my fingers they'd have it ready by today. And what they had ready by the time this morning started, it really surprised me, truly surprised me. Any questions about that?
So it's more better.
It's more better.
Okay.
How are the robocalls different?
We're, what's part of what the system, our current system is really pretty straightforward. You get a call, you get attendance, or we put out a message or whatever. Parent Square, many school districts are using them because you can actually have two-way communication with the parent. So you could send out a thing and someone could send something back and saying, and with some kind of reply, and then you could actually enter into that. One of the main reasons, ironically, that we were sort of looking into it had nothing to do with connecting with families. It was that our administration, we were trying to find a tool so that if we had a crisis, the administrators could have open conversation with each other. You know, for example, we could text each other, but Apple, you can limit you to 10 people on a text group. So we couldn't really use text. The Remind app is an app that a lot of people use, but what we realized was if I sent a message out to all the administrators, the DLT, if then Joe replied, he would only be replying to me. He couldn't reply and have everybody in that group see it. So in a crisis situation where we're trying to communicate and have everybody be right on top of it, we were having a hard time finding a tool that we could use to do that. So as we started having that conversation about what we could do, that's when Joe said, well, I think Parent Square does that. So we started the conversation about Parent Square. And so we said, Joe, go for it. Go try to find out more information about what it does, what the cost is. And so that's really the genesis of all of this conversation was how we can handle a crisis scenario. So once the Parent Square piece is fully implemented, and we make that switch, it'll be, I think, more robust for parents, but I think it's also going to be something that internally we're going to be able to use with much greater effectiveness than what we have now.
Yeah, the other part that really drew us to it was that when we send a message to parents, it will automatically translate it into their language that they use. So if they don't speak English, it'll translate it into their language so that they can read the message or hear it. I don't know about hear it, but can read it for sure.
Nice.
All right.
Good. Thank you very much for the update on that, Joe. I want to thank Tim and Vince for being proactive on the budget. That's great. Appreciate that. Okay, agenda. Item 5, action consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second by Julie to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Oh, sorry, from Mary. Mary. Any discussion? Okay, vote, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? 6-0. Okay. Agenda item 6, Spanish club trip to Peru, Raphael. Sir.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I have my papers here, my first time here, but I'm gonna give you my I'm gonna have to see get that you can see the itinerary, we're gonna get it. Yeah, sorry. You need to. So you can hear it.
Is there a test?
No, okay. Okay. I got help for you need it. Operating class. Yeah.
Thank you so much. By the way, Mr. Darrell, I have a question. Your event tomorrow night, what time?
5 to 7.
Thank you.
If you want to throw something at Vince, it's a great opportunity.
Oh, we get to throw something in there.
Was there, is it like a little thing or something? I mean, cause it's a dunk tank on my head.
Run something, not have things thrown, and I got, we'll have to talk.
Okay, well, my name is Rafael Concha. You know, I am a Spanish teacher in high school. We have our Spanish club. We try to go into Peru in the next 16 months. We start in November. We already got 14 kids enrolled, and we had 2 parents also. And then I'm gonna give you a little presentation. You can see inside to this handout all the itinerary, all the places gonna be improved. Well, it's very funny because I am from Peru, and then I choose Peru to go to visit with the kids. If you agree with that, but as you can with the next one, please, thank you. Well, this is my name. This is a picture of me 2 years ago. I just been in Machu Picchu in 2022 with my family, my 2 kids, my wife, and my brother-in-law, and then obviously Machu Picchu, you know, is one of the best, the wonderful things in the world. And then I think this opportunity to the kids is a one time in the life. Everybody want to go there, see there. And we had this opportunity because educational tours, can you put the next one? We're gonna talking about the company we do that is EF, Strong Education First. And we lead the world is better when the people try to understand one another. This company have 57 years experience traveling with, working with the school all around to the United States. And then we have, they have over 600 offices in the school. It's 100 itineraries all around the world. I think it's well known because this company, I think the last time the high school, Northern High School being in Peru was with the same company in 2008. You can get the next one. Our safety partner, local support and sign worldwide, EF safety and incident response team, rigorous health standards, and 24/7 tour director and chaperone team support. This company is very, very rigorous all about the health part, you know, and health standards. They choose the best places to be there because the tour is 9 days. We're gonna do in 2025 in June, between June 22 to July 5th. It's gonna be only 9 days, and then gonna be well-known places and good hotels, safety place. Peru have a democracy right now, it's safety. And I am from there, I live there almost all my life. And then I know how it's going on, and it's a very plus advantage is gonna be within this way we chose that one. Gonna be the next one, please. And account home change, you know, EF learning outcomes continue to impact students for the rest of their life. Growing mindset Students will learn to embrace new challenges, global perspective. Students will expand their worldview, personal development. Students will discover more about themselves, and it's action and impact. The student will gain necessary skills to make an impact. Well, this kind of the three experiences only when you can see the different world. Our kids got opportunity to see the third world countries, how they are and how they live. It's a big impact for students, for kids. For that never gonna be the same. They're gonna be changed. The thing we think now, they want to see how blessing we are here. That is another thing. It is a good experience over there, and they're gonna be a wonderful experience, educational for our kids too. This is all about the flexibility to change tour. This company have a lot of experience, peace of mind. If something happen, the company take care everything 100%. If somebody got sick over there, they have all covered. They're gonna put a chaperones gonna do, and they're gonna put the way back to home right away. And then they have protection individual travelers also. They check backgrounds for the travelers over 20 years old. Actually, there's a couple parents that are coming with us too. And then they have all the legal part here. And if something happened, whatever they have 100% covered and security for insurance too. This is the itinerary. We're gonna do that. We're gonna fly from Portland to Lima. Portland maybe going to LA to Lima, and then next one, please. And then we're gonna stay 2 days in Lima. We're around Lima. Lima is a big city, 12 million people. Lima was the capital. It's the capital of Peru, and that was the capital of the Incas enterprise too. And then it's a lot of things to see around Lima, museums, a lot of old constructions and stuff. We're gonna stay 2 days over there, and then we're going to fly to Lima to Machu Picchu. You can see it's a south to Peru, and they're gonna stay over there 2 days in Lima and Cusco. 3 days actually. You can see the next one, please. And you can see over here the guide tour Lima. We visit some places in town, in the square town, and in Lima, and some neighbors in Lima too, because Lima have an ocean Pacific. And then the day 3, we're going to Cusco. We fly to Cusco. We're gonna stay by the outside of Cusco is the valley, and the Yautantambo is a big Inca city, ruins, very famous. And then we're gonna travel to Aguascalientes, and the day 4, you can see another one. And then we're gonna visit Machu Picchu in Aguascalientes. Machu Picchu is 2 hours out to very close to the Jungle part. You can see it's all green over there. And then we're gonna stay 2 days in Machu Picchu, and then we're gonna back to Cusco for another couple of days. We're gonna still visit around Cusco, a lot of rooms, and then we're gonna take a bus to travel to Cusco to Puno. There's 2 states together. It's 8 hours by a car and by bus, and we're gonna go into the Lake Titicaca, and we're gonna visit the islands and floating islands in the Lake Titicaca. And then we're gonna back to Lima. We're gonna stay 1 more days, do another tour, and back to home in the day 9. That's gonna be the whole thing. I think this is the last one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have any questions, please, for me?
Are they taking a bus from here up to Portland, or are the parents on their own?
We're going to think it. I think we maybe we're gonna get a bus from here to Portland, but we're gonna see, because in 16 months before that, we're gonna find out if maybe we go to the bus. Okay, over there, we just get over here in the school and go back, come back.
What's the cost per student?
Well, in November it was $4,200. But I'm gonna give you some ideas. When I fly in the summertime, for me and my family going to Peru, for each one, just the flights to go to Peru and back, round 3 was $1,800 just flights. This tour gonna recover all the hotels, all the tickets for the museums, all the buses, transportation, hotels and breakfast, dinner. The only part doesn't cover is lunch and the tips for the drivers and stuff. But we have a
Spanish teacher?
yeah, but it's not, now it's 40, in November was $4,200, but every month they go up, and up. I think now it's around $5,000, I think, if somebody want to enjoy it. But it's gonna be 9 months that cover, hotels, food and transportation, flights. We had to fly, we had to take several flights back, that's gonna be in the summertime.
Go up for students, like they add on, is there any way that you can? I mean, I know people might just keep adding on, there's a cutoff date. Does the price keep going up even if more, like if you have 12 people going? Does the price still go up every month? Can you like maybe get a locked in price for a certain, like to say, we think we're gonna have 12 people come? And then maybe 3 more add-ons and some.
But if you add I mean, if you added 2 or 3 months before, the price is gonna be different. They had to be
Lock
locked.
it in when you reserve it.
Oh, okay.
My daughter's
Okay.
going, we locked it in and we're.
Yeah.
Monthly payments.
Okay.
Yeah, you got,
So, but if someone today wants to do it, it's gonna cost them a
Well,
little
it's
bit more.
different price,
yeah, different price. We have every 6 kids, we have a chaperone. Every 6 kids is one chaperone coming. We want to do up to 24 kids, no more than that.
Right.
Right now we had 14 kids. We're gonna I just share with my students with Spanish 1. We didn't share with Spanish 2. We didn't share with anybody in the school yet, the rest of the school. The rest of the student for the school, just the Spanish students I have. And then, but we don't want more than 24. And every 6 kids, we have a 1 chaperone seat. We have already 2 now, it's for me, it's another person already. And then 24 gonna be 4 chaperones. But everybody's welcome, but it's gonna be cost.
Are there any fundraisers planned?
Oh, yeah, they have every kid, they have their own page for fundraisers. They're gonna be just the money 100% for them. It's not gonna be fee anything for the company. The company do just free for each kid. We're gonna make that one. I forgot that part. It is part for the deal. Every kid, every student have their own page for do fundraising. We're gonna do with the school, like in the vendors and athletic events, something like that work 1 hour or 2 hours to get little money to pay to the tip, or some kid, they don't have money, whatever. We had to get some money to cover some unexpected expenses for the kids. Yes, we will. But we are 16 months ahead. There's gonna be in 2025. But we want to start working for get that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Do they accept American dollars as tips or?
Yes.
Give group money?
Yes, over there is all about dollar.
Oh.
And then the nice things about Peru is a safe place. And there's democracy. And then I am from Peru. I've been there a couple years ago. And then I know how I can handle it. That is a plus. I mean, that's an advantage. We can take it.
I would move to approve the June, July 2025 Spanish Club trip to Peru according to the attached plan for travel.
Oh,
Done.
okay.
Okay, there is a motion and a second. I move to approve the June/July 2025 Spanish Club trip to Peru according to the attached plan for travel. Any further discussion?
I just want to say, I would love to go see Lake Titicaca. It's apparently it's the highest lake in the world where boats still travel.
Yes, it is the highest.
It's like 9,000 feet or something like that.
Something like that. It's a 4,500 meters.
Yeah, opposite.
Yeah, I know.
Like almost 12,000 feet. The lake, the boats still travel.
It's very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
I've been there too.
I'll approve if I can.
I guess under the discussion, so I guess Raphael, I would like to thank you for taking the initiative
Yes.
to put this together, because it takes a lot of work to plan and organize.
Oh, thank you very much. It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thank
So
you.
speaking as a board member, I think this is a great idea. Anytime you can go to another foreign country and visit and see the culture in another world.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Yes.
great
Yes.
impact for the kids.
And I really like the terminology that's in this, or is in yours, where it says it expands your worldview. I think that is priceless.
Thank you very much.
In a way that they'll never forget.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Any nays? No. 6-0. Thank you, Roughly.
Thank you very much.
Hey, item 7, 2024-02, resolution to accept the grant funds, create the budget and appropriate spending authority for the early literacy grant action. Tim Kreider.
Good evening. So last board meeting, we had a wonderful presentation on the early literacy grant, and this allows us to actually accept the money and spend it. So you have a resolution to receive the revenue from the state source and put it in our special revenues fund, split up between instruction and support services. Pretty cut and dry. We need a board resolution to spend the money.
Okay.
So this will allow us to add it to our budget.
Do I read the motion?
Yeah.
Okay, is there any? Sorry, butt in.
No, go ahead. You make the
Okay.
motion. Go on.
I move to approve resolution 2024-02, accepting and authorizing appropriations in the special revenue funds as follows for the early literacy grant with appropriation for funds, instruction and support services.
Okay, so there's a motion. Is there a second? Second. Nathan, second. So the motion is I move to approve a resolution 2024-02, accepting and authorizing appropriations in the special revenue fund as follows for the early literacy grant with appropriation for functions, instruction, and support services. Any further discussion for the board? Okay, a vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Nay? Aye.
Congratulations.
6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work you guys put into that.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Item 8, K-5 math curriculum update information only, Bruce Martin.
All right, I thought I'd come up and just share with the board an update on where we are on our current curriculum adoption. We're currently in the process of K-5 math adoption. It's the early phases of that as we're doing that. If you remember last year, we adopted a 6 through 12 math curriculum in here in its first year of implementation. We did not adopt a K-5 simply because the language arts curriculum was brand new and it was quite time consuming. And I don't think our capacity to truly look at the curriculums last year was there at the elementary level. And we want to get the best curriculum that we possibly could. Since we have new web pages that came on today, both Dana and I scrambled and we said, let's get a web page up with our new curriculum materials on. So Joe is going to take us back to the web page real quick here. And we're going to share with you some materials that you can look at your leisure if you'd like to on where we are with curriculum adoption in there. So we're going to go to district information. And we're going to go down to curriculum adoption on that. When we do that, there'll be a little information section that talks about where we are and how we got to the process of the materials that were selected for us. The first thing down there in the highlighted blue text is kind of our timeline that we put together in there for the process. And you'll see that there's steps 1, 2, and 3 in there where we review some of the materials that are there. PLC teams get together, review some of the materials in there. And then we order in some of those highly approved materials, the ones that are the most rigorous and meet the standards to the highest degree that the state put out. We've ordered 5 curriculums and they've come in and they are in one of the conference rooms, the smaller conference room. So if any board member or any community member would like to come in and take a look at those, they're more than welcome to. I think Jim happened to be in there when we were putting some together and looked at those the other day. There's quite an array of curriculums when you look at 5 publishers giving you 6th grade levels of curriculum in there. But you're more than welcome to come in and just take a quick look. Don't expect you to go through them all. It would take a long time, as we've heard from teachers. So we've extended the timeline a little bit because it does take a long time to go through those materials in there. We're hoping to continue that review process sometime into March, and then we're going to limit it down to 2 curriculums. At that time, we'll bring in those publishers to give a more in-depth look at the curriculums that are those final selections that we have. Then we'll have some input from PLC teams after they hear their presentations out there. And then we will ask parents to come in and take a look as well, give them links and an option to come in and give us input from the community, not just parents, but from the community in there. And that will be sometime in, I think that wasn't it March time period that we were going to do that. And then the end of April is when we hope to make the recommendation or to have teachers come back with a recommendation to the superintendent, and at which time we'll bring it back to the board, purchasing the curriculum sometime in late May so that we'll have it ready for the beginning of the next school year. And that's our goal, that our curriculum is in place and ready to go at the fall of the year. Last year, we had to do a postponement and adoption for our elementary math curriculum, which is not uncommon, and we're completely within our guidelines, and we meet the Division 22 standards by doing that. We did it just simply because we want to get the best and have the most input from our staff as we make that selection. We don't want to be hurried in that process as we move forward in that. So that's our timeline there. Joe, if you go back real quick, please, you'll see there are some other things listed on that page. The standards are listed there, the Oregon standards. There's a virtual caravan that's listed on there as the 3rd thing down. That's a new method of sharing materials that the state has put out, where they will travel around to some key locations and they'll have textbook publishers present to audiences within those key locations. They'll film that, and then anybody that wants to look at the materials and what the publishers are saying about their materials has an opportunity to do it. It's on the state website. We just link to that state website for anybody that wants any more in-depth information about that. And then the last one on that math list is a list of those approved materials that are on there. And it'll show you on that list, if you go into it, what are the most highly rated materials in there, and then what areas within the curriculum that they were strongest within as they did that. So that's our math process. And as long as we were here, we figured, hey, why don't we just go ahead and throw the science curriculum? It's in science curriculum, it's up for adoption this year. So we put some similar type of steps in there on the science curriculum. And you can well imagine that we're in the adoption of that K-5 math curriculum. We're not going to try to do a science curriculum at the elementary level this year. There is no way we would do 2 major curriculums in 1 year. So we plan to postpone the science adoption for the elementary to the following year. And it's great because they're just now starting to get those materials out. The other thing I wanted to say, by postponing, it gives you a unique advantage because other districts will adopt in the first year, some of them will. Publishers are happy to share who has their curriculum materials out there, and we can contact those districts to find out, what's working for them, what's not working for them. So we kind of use that to our advantage as we move forward too, as we begin to limit down. But in science, we think that we will move forward. We hope to move forward at the secondary level. We know the high schools already had their input. They've actually got a textbook that meets the requirements, is on the approved list that they're very happy with for one of their courses. They're gonna look at some of the other materials. They may do an independent adoption because they've got a fairly new textbook that's not on the list, but meets the standards in there. And we're in the early stages of those conversations at the high school level. Middle school, a little different situation. John's talked to us about his staff looking at some of the different materials there and whether they go to an integrated model or whether they're going to do a standalone content model will depend somewhat on the path that they take moving forward and what materials we can get in there for them. Science is a little bit slower process as the materials have just started to come out at this point. So we hope to have some of those in there as they begin to make their decisions as we move forward as well. Again, we will solicit lots of public input, both for the math and then for the science materials as we move forward. And bringing back any recommendation to you and any questions you have along the way, please ask, because we will gladly try to get you those answers moving forward. Any questions on the adoption processes? Stop in if you want to see the math curriculum, it's there.
Probably not for the K through 5, but just one thing I remember from, I was gone a lot when my kids were in middle school and high school. And I think it's very helpful to parents to have a textbook where they can help follow along where the kids are at and render aid via looking at worked examples. So I think can be invaluable to the parents to be able to follow where their kids are at.
We'll take it, well noted, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, thank you for the work on this, Bruce.
Okay.
And others.
All
Appreciate
right.
it. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 9, board comments. Comments, okay, information only items. There's an enrollment report. Food service update. We'll talk about the gumbo on Saturday night, maybe. What's in gumbo?
Yeah.
Q2 financial update. We'll have a work session 2 weeks from tonight. We'll be working some of the items that the board came up with a little bit further. Next iteration, maybe talk about some strategic planning also. There. Next board meeting, regular one, Thursday, March 7th. And with that, we will adjourn. Thank you very much.